All right. Everybody, welcome. This is going to be a Mitzvah Shem, where we move from his Eidus to Ma'aseh B'Payil. As we always are standing here, a group of Shluchim, Minatzchim, committed to doing what we can. And so, again, we're called upon to use every opportunity that we have. First, among Mishpachas HaShluchim, and this is probably most importantly among Mishpachas HaShluchim, in each one of the ways that we can reach out, WhatsApp groups and word of mouth, etc., because in Mitzvah Hashem, following up on the incredible Hatzlacha of the Tut Alt Miftzah, which was targeted to Gans Anash, and it went off incredibly powerfully and really moved the needle in terms of the focus of Shluchim and of all the Bavitchers, all the Chassidim of the Rebbe, in an Indian of focus on Inyan Mashiach, prepared in an incredibly cogent way. Now the Shluchim office has, not the Shluchim office, the Mashiach office, and working with the Mekkahs, has created in the lead up to the Kinnos, which the entire Kinnos, I think we've all seen it, and we're very excited that the theme of the entire Kinnos is on the Gula Shlema, on the Shlichos HaIkris, that there is going to be given the same focus and attention that the Tut Alt Miftzah did with the Dvar Malchus. We're now going to have a focus on our, in a sense, our Le'es Ata, the final and most recent directive we have from our Rebbe, our Mishaleach, as to what our Shlichus is. So this is not even so much a discussion about woman halt on the whole Mashiach perspective. This is for us Shluchim. This is the Tzad Hashah. This is what the Rebbe has given us as a directive that is ringing in our ears. And it's 30 years, and apparently no new directives have come because we haven't finished this one. When we finish this one, in Mitzvah Hashem, we'll get the new directives when the Torah Chadash Miti Teitze. So on this point, without further ado, turning to our man in the Heiche Fenster, that has done is really mafli lasis in terms of the work he's done. Devaila and Mitzvah Hashem will continue to do so. I don't know if you were on last week. If you haven't, then everybody should also wish him a mazel tov, because I think this might be the first time since he had a baby that he's been on. If that we were able to wish him all.
No, I wasn't. I was on. I got mazel tovs, but at Sunday could be that week you weren't on. So I
so that's what I say. I qualified my statements, and maybe I wasn't on. But either way, I think we all stand ready to hear from Rav Shleiman how it is that we can help move this incredible effort forward.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. I want to start with a thought, and this thought drives the action of what we're engaged in right now. Is that the Aserivus causes, you need action, but the Aserivus causes the action. Look in this group, for example, and I'm sure in many groups, you could look around, you could see that we're pretty much on board, right? Everyone here wants to do Mashiach Inyanim, and we believe in the Rebbe's the mandate, and we want to spread the word. But I think that we have to also look at what gives us that inspiration. And whatever gives us inspiration, you want to share that same exact method with others. And just like I open up Chayesar and Beis, and the words of the Rebbe himself, as Muga from the Rebbe, tells me my mandate, gives me a personal mission, gives me a personal purpose. And that, sometimes I tend to then take just bullet points of the Sikha, or just my deher, and convey it to others. But how much more powerful would it be if the other person would do the same thing that I did, learn the actual Sikha? That's what drives this specific campaign, is that I feel that if people had the Seirus, the hoo-ha, and especially that comes with it, the tools and the support, the shiurim and the actual booklet and everything, to go and spend the time of looking into the Sikha, then we would have the best breeding ground for any other initiative you want to make among Shluchim. That is basically the thought process of this campaign. In truth, the Sikh of Chaisar Numbeis is the theme of every kinnos. 30 years is 30 years is a big thing, but 30 years is also a secondary thing. It just happens to be 30 years. It's more of a marketing thing than a true thing, because in 31 years, 29 years, shouldn't be any difference. But it happens to be that we were in a position, Baruch Hashem, to influence the theme of the kinnos to be this, especially because it's 30 years. And we decided to do something novel that's never been done in any kinnos Shulchan Ma'ilami since Tafshim Mem Ches. That is an intensive and extensive hachana for the kinnos. The reason why we're doing this is because we've identified a little bit of not an issue, but we've recognized we had a recognition that a kinnos has a theme. They have a theme every single year, but the theme is very much Ma'alamata, and it's understandably so. Shalom come for 5 days. The kinnos is packed, whether it's the sessions or whether it's just for bringing with chaverim. The kinnos is a packed time, and the themes end up being the themes of the speakers and of the kinnos, and then the hachlata is done by, I don't know, because there are 2 takes on the hachlatas or whatever, but it doesn't really penetrate to the shluchim as much as it should, and therefore, with our goal is to make that the theme of the kinnos is as much of a mata l'mayla as a ma'ala mata. It's secondary. The speeches, the theme of the kinnos is secondary to the fact that you, the shliach, comes to the kinnos prepared, already themed up. You're not gonna gain anything you're not gonna gain anything like new milamala by the kinnos. You're gonna be so past. You're gonna be so ready you're gonna ready to be themed up because of the hachana. So that is the thought process and the behind this specific hachana. Now, as for Anash and for Chabadas is still in development. We want to create a program for this coming year that's going to be launched around the Kinnos Shluchim, especially for the Chabadas, if it's ready in time, be launched by the Kinnos Shluchim, of how to communicate a geula mindset for people living in a time al safa geula, before the geula. Whereas in other projects, the focus was, for example, to Malchus, but Malchus is the Rebbe's Rebbe Sichas on the Rambam. It talks about Yemaisa Mashiach, right? So it's in limiting on Mashiach in that way of Yemaisa Mashiach. We want to create a curriculum, an experience where it's more about you here in Derish Shvi than about the Yemaisa Mashiach per se. So it's how a person who is living al Safa Geula, how everything in his perspective and his actions have to be attuned accordingly. So that's just a very, very rough, general overview of a project that we're working with JLI and Sechs in English together. Like in total, we're going to do something for this next year. When I do have things a lot more developed, be able to share it with the shluchim first on this group, and then eventually, if it's ready by the kinnos, then with the shluchim worldwide. But specifically, the call to action from today, this Monday, right now, is to focus on this vision conscious, because I feel that shluchim are involved. If we manage to successfully attain our goal, and I'm going to state the goal in a second, but if we manage to successfully attain our goal, then whatever program we will come out with, whether it's from the Mashiach office or whether it's from the Minatzchim or both together, or anyone in the Mises here are working on this mission, it will take off 10 times, if not more, successfully, because the shluchim you've created the breeding ground before this kind of shluchim. That shluchim want to fulfill the Rebbe's mandate in the Chayesarnim base, and the best way to do that is for the shluchim themselves to go back to the source and learn. And therefore, the goal of Vision Conscious is nothing less than getting every single shliach. Not talking percentages here. The goal is every single shliach to have learned on some level the Chayesar Numbez. What I mean by some level is that the booklet that's going to be being sent to every single shliach in the U.S. Trying to arrange Canada, but definitely the U.S. in the mail, and which will be available online also tomorrow. This booklet contains also a mini curriculum formulated by the great brains that we have here in the Menatus, together with the Sikha. So if a shliach is not going to actually learn the entire Sikha or only a portion of the Sikha, if he's only going to listen to a shir, if he's going to join Rabbi Nu's shir, Rabbi Simon Jacob's shir, Rabbi Nissen David Dubov's shir, that's coming up, the 3 live shirim that we plan for the next 2 weeks. If it's just going to be listening to Naim Wagner shir or Akiva Wagner shir or Label Altain shir, fine. To what extent every shliach could give to familiarizing himself with the concept of Sikha, fine. But the goal is that every single shliach, without fail, should come to the kinus, whether they're coming physically or online, should come to the kinus having learned the Sikha on some level. That is the goal. Now, to that end, we have obviously the marketing, which is it's not it's kind of self-understood what needs to be done. We have shluchim in all different places. Thank you so much for those volunteers who volunteered to be the Nitzigim of the WhatsApp groups. Makes a big difference. But bichlal, I know that the Minatzchim, as well as people beyond the Minatzchim.
Shlomi, can you explain that? Shlomi, can you explain that? Maybe more people would like to join right now.
Oh, the Nitzigim?
Yeah.
No, I created something called I'm calling, for the lack of a better wording, the Shluchim Network. Where as a marketing, there's a few pillars of marketing, besides for the actual wording and graphic, is getting it out to the people. So there's the online websites, there's physical copies, there's physical prints, but one of the big things in the world we live in is WhatsApps, and shluchim are heavily on WhatsApp, and that's where they get a lot of the information from. And so we wanted to create a network where in all these regional areas you have one shliach who's directly getting the flyers and the graphics and the updates from the Mashiach office, from me or anyone who works here, and they will just be responsible to forward, right? Just forward that flyer, that link, or whatever is being sent to them in the official channel, to forward it to their local WhatsApp group. So Rabbi Mendy Rubenfeld's on the WhatsApp group from California. It's very simple. I know that there's one shliach. The Mashiach knows that there's only one shliach they need to really contact in California. And they know it's going to be on the California group. Yes, Rabbi Reuben Wolf is in California. There's other people in California, so it's obviously going to get there. But it's not making the network and making sure no one falls through the cracks. There's that one guy. So in Montreal, I know Reb Zusha is in Montreal, but I have Mendy Marlowe, who, he's just something I know. I'm sending it to everyone, a lot of people, but I know that Mendy Marlowe is going to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. It's a very simple concept, but I've constructed it. There's still a lot of places in the U.S. I don't have it at SIG. So if anyone wants to do so, please do so on the WhatsApp chat, either in the Minatzchim, or you could private message me on the Minatzchim WhatsApp group. So that's Mitzad marketing. That's a pretty self understood. But the next thing I think is every single shliach is going to be getting in the mail or online the book of the PDF. There's going to be the live shurim. There's going to be an event this Wednesday with 30 shluchim talking about the impact of Chayesar and based on their shluchim. There's going to be all these things. But I think the most effective thing that there could be is regional gatherings. And regional gatherings is either in person or over Zoom. If every single area, I'm going to take Montreal for example, because I'm connected with Montreal, right? The Montreal shluchim, which have Baruch Hashem, a lot of achdus amongst them, they do pull us together. Montreal shluchim, sometime over the next 2 weeks, are going to make up one evening of getting together, either by Zoom or in person, and they invite all the shluchim this Thursday night, this shishi, we're all getting together, we're all going to learn it together. That's the best thing you can do for a shliach. Learning at home is just not the same. Learning on your own is just not the same. There's going to be shluchim, we're going to be taking chaversos for sure. But if you can make a local, regional get together, hachana for the kinnos, we're preparing for the kinnos, we're all going together. Again, whether it's in person or not, the kinnos still happens. Kinnos is something that happens whether you're in New York or not, right? It happens for you. It's a time to take what the Rebbe says in the Sikha seriously. You concept is that to durchreden in the Inyanim. It's a time when we take stock, when we take stock of the overall vision and not just the pratim of our shlichus. Right? We want to prepare for that, so it should be as impactful as possible. The best thing we could do is regional gatherings, and therefore, after next week, what I'm going to be mainly focusing on, and I'm going to require a lot of help in, is literally calling up shluchim, and the shluchim who are, it's identifying the macher of the area, the guy who cares about the Indian, the guy who would be able to gather the shluchim and say, listen, there's 2 weeks, the all those resources are online. Zion Cheshvon's official launch date. We had this event. There's going to be tremendous PR, tremendous marketing. Everyone's going to know about it. Everyone's going to be excited. I want you to take the moment and invite your chaverim, your 5 chaverim in your area. Try to make a time for them on Zoom, even for an hour, to start learning things together. Even just to start, or gather the head shlech in that place to give a shiur. Right? I don't know. So going back to Montreal as an example, if you get maybe Rabbi Zusha or Rabbi Bell or one of the people who are the senior shluchim to give a shiur to make a chavursa night, they could be in a few different types of forms, but to have a personal evening for my right. Let's say the shluchim in Long Island, New York. Right, the shluchim in Long Island, New York, are going to have a personal evening just for them to come together to have a regional gathering. It's something the shluchim would love, I'm sure. A mini, get together, a mini for pre-kinnis for bring and pre-kinnis learning. I feel would be the most pneumistic marketing that we could do. Not marketing, pneumistic action that will actually make get closer to our goal. So if Sheikh sees a WhatsApp message, right? The goal is that he should learn the Sikha. He sees a WhatsApp message. From getting to the WhatsApp message to learning the Sikha is a far, it's a little bit of a disconnect, right? He needs to go through a mental process, see the WhatsApp message, make time for himself, print it out, actually go and learn it. But if he has a regional learning that he's invited to, for him to get to the goal of learning the Sikha goes all the way this much closer. So in terms of marketing, if we focus our keiches and actually making these regional gatherings, that's the most effective way of reaching our goal.
Any questions, comments?
Roshana, do you want to clarify, is the way that this curriculum is broken down or whatever, is it meant to be done up? Did we lose him? We lost him. No, he's still there. He's still there.
I think he got a phone call.
Okay. Just how many, in other words, ideally, is this a one-time shiur or is this more than a one-time shiur? Is this 2 or 3 times that before the kinnis? You don't hear me? Ruben, you're on mute.
Oh, here we are. Okay, first of all, it's so nice to see you. I'm
so sorry. I had
You can answer better than me because I don't know.
I'm sorry. I had a very important phone call that came in. I'm in the middle of a lot of things here. Anyway, I'm back on.
No, just as Shlomo, do you want to clarify? Ideally, one shiur, more than one shiur. How is the curriculum broken down?
Okay, so you want to know what the book will look like, basically?
No, I'm saying if us, let's say we're going to galvanize our local chevra to come together. Are we saying that we're going to come together just once to go through the sikha together, or we're going to try to do this weekly till the kinnos?
Right. Very good. Every area is different. I know a area with a couple shulchan, a couple young guys that they anyways do a weekly learning. You know what I'm saying? So for them, they're going to be doing 3 times and using this. Some people, it's not yet on their schedules to ask that over the next couple of weeks to come 3 times. Maybe a lot to ask for. But the best would be if I would call Rabbi Sandy Kaczynski and I would say, Rabbi Sandy Kaczynski, I'm pitching you the idea. I'm giving you the seeds of the idea. How exactly to go about it? You know your regional location better than me. So what I could tell you is what's in the booklet. In the booklet, I mean, the sikha is a long sikha, is a hard sikha. So to be honest, if someone learns it straight without too much, eyeing too much, it can take minimum an hour and a half in a chavursa. It's minimum an hour and a half. So That's just a sikha. If you look at the curriculum beforehand, it's a half hour to 45 minutes curriculum, probably. So if you want to put that together, if you're going to learn the whole booklet, it's at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours, which is a lot to ask for people to get it together. So practically speaking, in order to finish this up, it's 2 events of an hour and a half each. That gives a nice amount of time for people to actually learn it and for bring about it. But I don't know if that's practically in every location that can happen, to call the shluchim together for an hour and a half twice. What I would say is that we're having an evening of learning to start. I mean, if you have evening of learning and you start learning the sikha and it's geschmack, then what happens is you take your chavrasa and you guys make a time together, and you finish it off at your own time. That's the way I envision it. But again, as I said, there is a place that I know that that they do a weekly learning anyway, and they come together every Sunday anyway. So they're gonna anyways. Every place has its own mechanisms that work for them. And as far as pitching the idea, I pitch the idea with the least amount of giving the most wide ranging pitch, because every place could be its own thing. So some places are going to be, let's say, like in some places in Europe, if let's say all the shluchim in Germany are going to be doing it together, it's going to be on Zoom. And what does that mean? How do you learn course on Zoom? It means you can have one shliach start giving the shir. So I'll be able to give a shir for an hour. If you're giving a shir on that sikha, it's a minimum 2 hours, minimum, right? So is they're gonna be able to sit everyone on Zoom for 2 hours? I highly doubt it. But the guy will start. The guy will give a synopsis. The guy will give whatever, and it will go on their own. But the very fact that they had something for the shluchim of Germany is the surest thing that the sheikh is going to go on his own. He's not going to finish it up as long as he had that individual gathering, individual attention. Understand? That's the way I see it.
So lechatchila 2 shiurim and b'diavad 1.
I think I'm saying just from the material.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Again, I imagine a lot of shluchim here that the curriculum isn't. They'll learn it on their own. They'll look over on their own. What they really want to charuza for is actually sikha.
A good idea would be to make the first one in person in places that you could, and then you get to a certain point and you don't want to schlep everybody together again. So you set up that you'll do the continuation will be a Zoom next week.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Unless you give very good farbais.
I was going to say, Rav Shlomi, did you want to tell everybody about the initiative that the shluchim, that the Menatus is going to send out a box with some high quality l'chaim
Chinese?
I know bourbon in Kentucky that I can promise to all the groups that are finishing. Good bourbon from Kentucky.
Ah, you know what? Well, you're on.
To be honest, I have a personal hesitation for bison. When I was a bacher, I was in yeshiva. I was always tasked with running in Onigul Mashiach initiatives. It was always fell on my plate for some reason. And the one thing I did is I abolished any for bison by any of the shiurim, because no one takes anything seriously when there's for bison, right? You don't bring for bison to your Gemara shir, right? So as soon as you bring for bison, you show that this is not so important. Come eat. Anyway, but no, I'm not. It could be by shluchim is different.
Shlomi, join us on this side of Balabatischkeit.
I'm pretty sure from Tanya today you're supposed to have for bison on Gemara. You're supposed to treat it like the nigla of the Torah says the same way. So it's very Mashiach-tic to have for bison by Gemara now.
Yisrael Friedman, Olav Shalom, had a famous cynical comment. He would say, "Mit Avlen and Nigol Mashiach Azoi feel as if it schneided the finger with kummer rice orange juice from Danishes." Anyway, so yeah, shtusim. But the point is that I think everyone on this group would commit to this. That in their region they're going to make. Now I'm going to say like Rabbi Mendy Rubenfeld. Region means like region. Once you get to California, it's already not regional. People don't feel that individual thing. So it means San Diego. You know what I'm saying? People commit to doing. No,
we had a group of shluchim from our area, even though it was Zoom, but it was still our area.
Right.
Like we did by the totals. So we'll do it now too.
Right.
I have
know that.
question or perhaps an idea. Since this is an official initiative through Merkez and for the Kinus HaShluchim, maybe there could be something more formal from the head shluchim of each state or in each country.
We're working
So,
on
for example, not to take away from Rabbi Mendy Rubenfeld, is a chaver out here on shluchas and is an amazing guy. But if in addition to him posting on the California WhatsApp, hey, there's a sikha, there's a thing, let's do it. But if there was something from Rabbi Kunin in our case, and likewise in every state, it gives it a lot more cheshivas and validity. And then you could also have foot soldiers that are kind of organizing it. But to get the official.
No, but even if Rabbi Kunin didn't do it, but if Simcha Bachman posted it, it would be.
Also, I'm saying something more official, not just like a forwards from someone, but it's like a.
Yes, it's in the works right now. Precisely your idea. So Mitzvah Shem, hopefully by the end of this week, we're having head shluchim sending out letters to their shluchim. But there's something called. The way I see it is the head shluchim would endorse the concept, encourage their shluchim to do it, but logistically, it's usually a younger guy who's going to actually make it happen, right? So you need kind of like both. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, okay. So we're working on from our end. We're working on getting that from the head shluchim, and if it's the event is officially the launch, which is Wednesday, right? So that's when we really start. That's when shluchim are really going to know about it, and it's going to be the talk of town. So if the whole next week is the week of arranging that thing. So if I get head shluchim send the emails, if it happens, but it looks like it's going to. But if that could happen this week,
I mean, on that topic,
Thursday,
how are we informationally wise or checking in to make sure people are going to be there Wednesday?
What?
How are we making sure that happens? That's the first thing that we have to get the signups for. Like, for them to
Well, no one needs to sign up. No one needs to sign up.
I don't mean sign up. I mean, so what can we do in the next 48 hours to make sure that by 3 o'clock 2 days from now,
marketing,
we're going to be there?
3 things: marketing, and marketing.
Are you able to obtain phone numbers for shluchim from regions?
Am I open?
I'd call people. I'd call all the shluchim that I know if I had all the numbers.
No,
I'm saying one-on-one. This is vitally important.
100%. If you have a shliach in a region that I don't have yet and a tzig there, please pass it over, and I will contact him personally.
No, Shmuli's saying if you can give him phone numbers from the guys in his area.
I mean more. I mean, I know, my regional kinnis on my list that I had 2 years ago, it was like 120. So of that group, only 5 WhatsApp.
I don't know.
Chicago, Detroit, Ohio, Kentucky WhatsApp. I'm pretty good on my Kentucky WhatsApp, but without beating up my brothers, I have to make sure that they actually show up. So I imagine it's that way for other brothers too.
I mean, everyone. If you go on your local WhatsApp groups, then you have all the numbers there. I don't know. For me, to get the numbers is probably going to be quite impossible. I mean, like, especially real numbers, like cell phone numbers, not like numbers from Memches, the office. That ends up being a fax number. that I have some, but actual numbers to shluchim is just I personally went and researched each one. That's the way I do it.
How close are you to Schneier Najar's office? He has it all.
I don't know.
Did he give it to you or not? This is very story.
I'm not sure if he has numbers, emails. I don't think he works with numbers really.
All right.
How do we get in touch with you?
What?
What's your cell number? We could text you the.
Okay. So yeah. So if you're on the Minatzchim group, I'm gonna post something on the group now, so you'll have my number.
Thank you.
If you're going to put this out publicly, just be aware that your number, this is being recorded, and your number is going to end up on YouTube. Shlomi.
It hasn't been there until now.
Oh, you're saying I should? Oh, it's my number? Okay.
No. Saying if you're about to put your number, I'm just warning, if you're about to put your number into chat, these.
I'm putting it in the Menatus WhatsApp group chat.
In the WhatsApp group. Okay, not
Yeah.
on the.
I
Not
just
here.
wrote Rabbi Naparsik here. So there you have my number. Okay. All right.
Good, Shlomi.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
just make a suggestion for Chevron to make a calendar invite. When you tell people about it, send it with a calendar invite that it goes into people's calendars. A lot of people are welcome to the calendar
How long?
and send it as a Google invite.
How
3 hours,
long
3 to
will the
6,
event on Wednesday take? The entire from beginning
3
to end?
hours.
3 hours.
By the
Our
way, just
time?
as a suggestion to Chevra, what I'm planning to do. I'm sorry. I'm about to disagree a shtick with Shlomi. The way I plan on getting the local shluchim is I'm planning on telling them Fakert, we're coming. We're going to have Farbison, good Farbison, and so good l'chaim, and we're going to come together because as I keep in, you know, the ones that are enthusiastic to come will come because they will have the sikha. Those that are not enthusiastic, maybe the Farbison gets them to the door. But the bottom line is, don't just call and invite to whatever it is. Think about the way that you can make it the most appealing invitation. And then bring out your oil.
okay. And now I want to say there's something you must do. There's something everyone must do. You must take a picture of your event and send it to me. You must take a picture, because what I plan on doing is once we have, let's say, 5, 6 of these events, we make an article, we send out the article. And from my very limited experience, but this is what I hear around and I've seen it, is that when people see like a picture, a visual, they go ahead and do it themselves. I really want to do that. This will be a great article. So here are the Minatzchim. If you have a Zoom, take a screenshot. If you're going to make an event, send it to me, and we'll make an article. I'll send it to you to make sure it's looks good. And that's something I really want to do next week.
What's with other languages?
What's with?
Other languages.
Okay, so I have in Hebrew. Marketing, we're going to have in Hebrew, French, Spanish, English. Those 4, Devaila, maybe Russian. Russian, they're always like last time they came on last minute, but they did a great job. It might happen. As for the actual booklet, we didn't make it into 6 languages last time because it's a different crowd. We're dealing with here shluchim, and as I was told by the Nitzig in France and Nitzig in other places that the shliach either English or Hebrew, because even let's say the French shluchim, when they actually learn, they're actually going to learn in Hebrew. Now it could be that there'll be shiurim in other languages. That's a different thing. Spanish may make a panel, but that will come out later. It might be a shiurim in French. But as for the booklet's going to be available in English and in Hebrew. Yeah.
All right. Shilas?
Reuven, did you want to share something?
Yeah, I'll share something that I was talking to Shlomi about, and Baruch Hashem, we got it off to a start. I didn't yet communicate to Shlomi back where we're holding, but I want to let you know right now that it did start off well, and I hope I can get some help from everybody over here. Basically, one of our Chevrovi, I think Binyaminson, am I right? Are you here? You're still showing up on my phone with a number, B401, because I have saved you for my. He suggested, and we had a discussion of how we're going to bring all this down into, we have the inspiration. All shluchim are coming to the kinnis with inspiration, but how do you implement living with Mashiach? Here we are. How do we implement living with Mashiach b'poyel mamish? That everything you're doing, you're living in that Mashiach zone. So we came up with the idea that if shluchim walk away from the kinnis with either, there should be a presentation as well, but also with like a booklet that has like 60 entries, it can be 50 to 60 entries that talk about the various different, each entry is with a paragraph of 4 sentences, 60, 70 words maybe. And over there, it has a short description of how you do this thing from a Geula mindset. So for instance, Miftzayim, you'll have someone who's going to, all the Miftzayim from a Mashiach perspective. All the things we do daily in our home, whether it's Moeda'ani, Netilas Yadayim, having breakfast, what's the Mashiach perspective on it? business, marriage, children, parenting, this, that, objects, appliances, a computer, cell phone, GPS. Like one of these things, each Indian with a short description. Anyways, I spoke to Laser Gurko, and he was so quick that he said he said the best way of doing it is to divide it amongst like a few writers, and each one will take one series, one subject. So Laser took already, and he gave me, I have it already. You have from when you wake up from Moed Ani, the Seder Hayom from a person. He gave it to me with a Mashiach twist on every single thing we're doing, even turning your lights down at night, opening your lights, and like a really geschmack. And he wrote it out for me. And he wants me to. I was going to go to Tzvi Freeman to write up a different. Like Tzvi Freeman can, for instance, take a seasons of the year, go through all the seasons of the year, including Yom Tovim, Al Pi Mashiach. Someone else can take life experiences, or the other one could take objects, life cycles, objects. And if we put together this booklet and we have it really well, then that's when I have already, again, the first one I have like the Kadesh Tul Nirtza on one end, but I need like 4 or 5 of those. And then we have to work on putting it together into a really, really sharp, great booklet and have a good editor. And this can be given out by the Kinnis, and I think it'll create it'll give people a lot to think about and to work with, to make it Poyel Mamish. That's the idea. But I didn't reach out to any other writers, and I might need help with that.
So you see, Shui Goldstein was writing that Gershi Avtzin already wrote a book on Miftzayim and Mashiach connection.
Oh,
So
there you go.
More mitzvahs.
But we need, the problem is the book is too much. We need literally the 60 words per entry. That's what he made for me. So if you take the Kudus out short so someone can have a handbook to live Mashiach Day. So if anybody has any way that they can help us try to help with that as well, that'd be great. Because this only needs to be prepared for the Kinnus, but we need to work on it now. Because the worst thing we can have, I mean, people can walk away from the Kinnus inspired, but if they don't have a way of implementing it, the Poyel Mamish into their daily living, it'll be a little problematic. It's going to be lacking. And obviously, this can later turn into a booklet that can go out to all of Anash, and it can be sharpened. Obviously, for the Kinnis, it's going to be a rush job, but later it can be reworked and this and that, and everybody can have their Mashiach handbook. What does a lawyer mean? I'll be this. What is a doctor? What is a hospital? Hopefully you won't have hospitals. But what are all these things from a Mashiach perspective? He leps them in them.
But not only that, Ruvain, not only that.
Yes.
Also, it should be printed. For example, you make a nice pushka. So you should have on it, you should have on it.
Yeah.
A brochure about tefillin. That's also very important. A brochure about tefillin. Instead of talking about, our enemies running away from us, you should have also something about connecting tefillin with Mashiach. The same thing with Menatus. You give out these 10 Menatus, you should write something, a quote from Maimon Chazal, connecting the natives of Hanukkah as a special connection to the native of Mashiach, the native of Mashiach. I should have that.
Yeah.
Right?
For instance, I can send you some. I'll send you Mitzvah, and I'll send you all kinds of ideas like a Pushkis and the Menorah, Shlachmanis things, etc.
So, but we need someone who's going to be able to work on putting this all together in a sophisticated, in a really sharp, good way. That's what we're. I'm Baruch Hashem, making a chassan in 5 weeks, so I'm going to be a little busy. But if we can have some, I'm putting out the idea. We started already. Laser came through really well for me, and others. I think we just have to get a few more writers and a few more things, and we take what we have already. We can do something really beautiful.
Yeah, well, you can do that. You can start that, practice it with you, but the chasana. Print something nice, or pushka or something you have. I don't know exactly what you're going to do.
And Isaac, why are you so quiet? Like it's very low.
Yeah.
Low? Oh, yeah. Hold on. I'm not sure. Maybe it's my. You hear me better?
Not yet. You're still coming in quite quiet.
Till he comes out, till he raises his volume. Reuven, I have a suggestion for you. You have to give out some kind of a, as the Seder is today, by weddings, you give out a booklet of some kind. So how about you doing this for your wedding, and then it will be available to everybody else?
You're saying that it can be my work.
This should be fitting into your 5 weeks preparation. This should be your gift that you're giving out to the.
Yeah, maybe I can get the Mechutin to sponsor.
Okay, who's your Mechutin?
Nah.
The one I like of Netilas Yadayim, the whole idea of Netilas Yadayim, Rebbe says, is because of Truma in the Beis Hamikdash. Right? You wash your hands every morning. You get up in the morning. The only reason you wash your hands is because we're going to need to prepare ourselves to be able to be Torah for Truma. It's Mamish Mashiach.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder, how did you see it already?
What?
How did you see it already?
Was that one of them?
Yeah, it was.
I have the same.
And that was one of the things. I said, wow, that's such a good idea.
Back to washing before bread.
Moida Ani, you can think Stam Yechida, or you can think, oh, wow, when Mashiach is coming, it's the Yechida Klawless. So you right away connect Moida Ani to Mashiach. You right away connect cooking, this, that. He went through really Yishmak and Yonim.
It's beautiful.
Okay. I'm going to reach out to Tzvi Freeman today, maybe, and if anybody's really close to Simon Jacobson, maybe he can take one. I wrote out like 7 different groups of inyanim in which someone can go by based on that and make a seder, make like a kaddish urchatz till you get to the end. Whether it's objects, whether it's places, whether it's seasons, whether it's mitzvayim, things like that. Well, mitzvayim we probably have already, so.
Sports, by the way, there is a book out on sports, but you just have to connect it.
Mm-hmm.
You can take
no, I did. I included recreation activities. Anything you're doing should have a Mashiach consciousness to it.
Reprint it, people should see it. And like this,
yeah.
You're learning about it. You're learning about when you give tzedakah, you should think as man. So can you imagine it have everything that you're doing, and you think Mashiach, you're learning all day. What are you doing? You're learning Mashiach.
Rabbi Lang, COVID doesn't come through on the Zoom. What's with the mask over here?
I'm in a hospital.
Jetzt verstehe ich. Okay.
Something that's not Mashiach. Maybe you could tell me.
You have to find Mashiach.
No, find Mashiach. I gave out a bunch of Sheva Mitzvahs cards, if that helps. And but I will share with you something interesting because my birthday is on Hanukkah, and I always remember the Nun Aleph Nabei was Nabei Sicha. It says Mikate, Parshas Mikate, and I'm the Ferte Lichtel. Right away, if you're involved with the Mashiach, you automatically think of the Abrakan Fesaris. It's automatic. So L'chayda, the Nun Beisicha that everyone's learning, which maybe is having everyone learn, if you're into it, you automatically will see the connection with everything to Mashiach. So the source of it all, I'm saying it's nice to lay it out with the booklet, but the ultimate idea is, as Malep Mashiach, no one needs to L'chayda. You don't need someone to put Beracha B'Tcha Ktana in a way.
Yeah, no, but I do think it'll be a practice, not a practice. Some people are not that creative. So once they begin creating these connections, then they'll create their own because they'll train their minds to think that way. It's like it's here in the Sikh it says Medarftastan, and then once you pick up the method, then it starts becoming a natural phenomenon.
The part is also to connect it, but then have an extra, what we mentioned before, to print it, and to do things. Just like Simon Jacobson has this thing in the Chassidus. He has the in of Chassidus, and then he has the exercise. Verstehst? You hear me?
Yeah. So this is basically exercises. These are exercises for everybody.
The Inyan, the connection, and then you have the exercise, what to do. No, I'm saying the Pale Mamish. Give the connection.
To conclude, a moment of silence, please. I know that I'm into it, and that's education, and everyone to think in their community how they can get a moment of silence in their schools. That's very Mashiach-tic. It takes some effort from the shliach, but it can be done. If you want Mashiach, it's for everybody. So just to keep that in mind.